Hello. Welcome to the fourth floor, everyone. Glad you could be here. My name's Nick. I'm a founder, CEO of CFX. We're a crypto-enabled banking services platform based in Chicago, team members all over the place. And I'm excited to share with you a true demo today because I was sick all week and didn't really have time to prepare a pitch. We get the live action. But yeah, so I've been in crypto for about 12 years. Fell in love with the Satoshi white paper, electronic peer-to-peer cash, the idea that you could be your own bank. I got to invest in Ethereum early on. It was awesome, and have been kind of like working throughout my career for the last 10 years to try to recreate that for other people. And so CFX is kind of the real embodiment of that, where you have a stablecoin, which is tied to a commercial bank deposit token here in the US. We have a couple bank partners who are investors on our cap table. And really what we're trying to do is enable people to, from all around the world, to program with money leveraging the US dollar. And so a little bit about our relationship with Metcalf Bank and Trust. It in and of itself is very unique. It's what's called a holding, a universal bank model. I think there's only 3 in the United States, and that's where you have a holdco structure. You have a commercial bank, which is what you typically will see for payments and that sort of thing. You have a licensed broker-dealer for dealing in securities, treasury marketable securities, that sort of thing. And then you also have like a capital solutions provider for things like private credit. It's a little bit like a baby Goldman Sachs. And so the challenge with a bank like this is, they're on a typical US domestic banking core, which lets you do a lot of interesting things in the US. But as soon as you get into more exotic or innovative products like doing things on the blockchain, you can't really do it. So we have what is essentially an overcore to what is a traditional banking core. So we can go on top of any US bank and effectively mint stablecoins and redeem stablecoins, but also connect these banks who tend to have various specialties. So Green Dot Bank, for example, processes all of Venmo and PayPal's cash collection throughout the United States. Places like Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Dollar General. That's a specialty that they developed over decades that another bank is not going to come along and do. And so what we try to do is connect these specialty providers through one, overcore. And we use Solana as the primary blockchain, but we're blockchain agnostic. And we support USDC, USDT, as well as our own stablecoin, MoveUSD, which is really more of an institutional stablecoin for clearing and settlement for operators and fintech partners. What's really interesting about the US banking system is it already has a decentralized network of financial providers through a system called IntraFi, where over $750 billion a day gets swept across 3,500 banks, and it earns money market interest, and it also earns yield. To date, we haven't seen any companies kind of leverage that and bring that type of financial services on chain. It's mostly relegated to the broker-dealers and the securities folks, but that's one of the things that we're working towards at CFX. And so basically break it down between money in, money at rest, money out. And one of the unique things I've been going to Singapore to talk about US to Mexico cross-border payments. I've been going to all over the world to talk about anything related to stablecoins. It's the first time that I'm an hour from my parents' house and can actually talk about the business that I'm in. So it's really refreshing, and I think we're really at the beginning of something new, where entrepreneurs and innovators can start to work with the US financial system and improve it. But the big kind of thing that we see people coming to us for are these, what I would say are bespoke and unique needs of their business. So they could be, what's up? I can't hear you, man. What? Go into slideshow. Okay. This guy hates borders. All right, slideshow. Here we go. So, unique fintech-only type things that MSBs experience, right? So, first question, you go to talk to a US bank, are you an MSB, right? You say yes, boom, they put you down this crazy track, right? Oh, are you an international company that's also an MSB? Boom, boom, now you're all the way down this crazy track. You go from like 4,300 bank partners in the US to maybe 3, and these insane minimums and platform fees and trying to navigate 50 different state money licenses and 5 federal regulators. So we handle all that stuff and we kind of like go deep into these use cases, whether you're a telecom, a bank, a card issuer, a processor, payroll provider, whatever it might be. And we try to solve the problem completely and then resell it to other partners on our platform. So a number of people on our platform are not just takers, but they're makers. They're issuing cards, they're doing last mile payouts, they're doing things that other people need access to. And so it's very much like a co-op and a collective of operators, which is very much how MasterCard and Visa started. You know, Visa was not a public company until 2016. Prior to that, it was a private consortium of banks all working together to grow network effects and grow distribution together. So this is very much the same thing. This is the beautiful part. It takes 5 days to partner with us. You can request an onboarding link, get pre-approval within 1 business day. Not for everyone, but for those that we can pre-approve in 1 business day. Review our MSA, start transacting immediately, select either a cost plus or program revenue sharing option, complete your final work order, which includes pricing, and you're good to go. And so in the spirit of a demo, I'm going to go out of slideshow mode here. My friends over at Fifto Payments, right, who we've talked to for several months, back and forth. You know, this is what I've experienced in the world of banking as a service, right? Talk to one of the 20,000 people at Visa, right? And, you know, get your forms and submit them and submit them and submit them. And then you go work on your next thing. We're really trying to make that gateway to the US banking system, and I do mean like banking services, as quick as possible. And so we do the underwriting to get you direct access into Fedwire, into ACH, and those types of things. So for those of you that don't know, Fifto is a French-based stablecoin infrastructure provider who traveled to the US, I imagine, at great cost, expense, and time, to meet someone like myself, who has spent 3 years, $10 million, building great relationships with US banks here, so that they would be in a position to essentially access the US rails, and I think in your specific case, looking to ensure that your customers are appearing on the statement descriptors for ACH payouts, right? It's kind of like the main thing. So we've been partnered with AI Prize, which is a great KYC compliance tool. They've done an amazing job. And part of our approach is to essentially allow you to get access to US banking in a trial capacity, right? So you can test out our rails for $2,000, up to $2,000, make sure they work, make sure everything appears, and then after you're satisfied, you can kind of continue from there. This is basically going to provision you with an account and a wallet account on the blockchain. And just to kind of shorten the sequence, you can see our portal dashboard here. Looks very much like a Mercury or a Ramp, but has the added benefit of being able to create sub-accounts for all of your customers, as well as recipients, identities, and organizations, so that you can either send money on your own, or send money on behalf of someone else if you're a PSP. And all the kind of like travel rule compliance, all of the, like in many cases, or not in many cases, but in some edge cases, we'll see customers that don't know that their beneficiaries might have issues, right, as it relates to US sanctions and that sort of thing. And we'll actually restrict them from transacting on the platform and save them from unnecessary paperwork and headaches with our bank partner or any other regulator in their local jurisdiction. And so it's a demo, so this is still spinning, but I assure you, by the time you get on the plane, you'll have an account here. It'll look very much like this, where You can come in, you get essentially a named beneficiary account with wire in, wire out, ACH compatibility for you as well as for your sub-account customers. So in this case, it's CFX for the benefit of CFX Labs Inc. But in terms of doing USD collection accounts for your customers, you can certainly do that as well. And so that is CFX in a nutshell. So I'll pause there and see if anyone has any questions. Anyone at all? I just got to call the bank real quick. No. It will be ready momentarily, and it will be ready for you to use and do test deposits on. There's a lot of like weird things, right? Like if you're dealing with, let's say like Clearbank, or you're dealing with like, Banking Circle, where they're not directly on the bank rails, right? Or here when you're dealing with TransferWise, there's a lot of like challenges in terms of reconciliation and getting the data to pull through in a way that lets you do it in an automated fashion. And those are things that we kind of like hunt down with all of our clients to make sure they work correctly. All right, well, if there's nothing else, that is CFX from the 4th floor. If you need international USD collection accounts or need to talk about anything payments related, feel free to reach out.